Good evening and welcome to another exciting edition of What I'm Drinking, a show that explores what I'm drinking at any given time. Here in West Columbus, we've survived some storms, we've survived triple-digit temperatures and power outages. Luckily here our power stayed on. We're very lucky because a lot of our friends had some substantial damage and some substantial power outages for many days. So we maintained and prevailed here. We're going to start today with a cocktail. I now have a cocktail shaker. We're going to do stuff with that. And the drink is called a White Lady. And it was developed sometime during the Prohibition era, sometime in 1919 to 1930. There's a dispute as to who actually created it. Some say the proprietor of Harry's American Bar in Paris started it. Others say the bartender at the Savoy in Manhattan did. Either way, it's a blessing that somebody put it together. It's derived from a drink called the Sidecar, which is brandy, triple sec, and lemon. Shake it up. That's a Sidecar. And some wise soul had the foresight and genius to substitute gin for brandy, along with another ingredient we'll get to in a moment. So let's start this drink here. Yeah, ice, of course, naturally. Throw a few ice cubes in, and the main thing is gin. And there's a gin I like. I'll show you the bottle. It's called Broker's that I've been using. It's 94 proof, strong stuff. A little heavy for a martini, I thought. I'm going to try something a little lighter next time. But it makes a very nice gin and tonic. So the drink calls for an ounce and a half of gin. Since we're doing for two here, we're going to put a little more gin in. So there's your gin. Gin is good. Just a little more. And gin. That's your gin. Thank you, gin. I like the little hat. Okay? I'm a sucker for the hat. It's really cute. Yeah, nice. And the next ingredient, the fancy recipes calls for Cointreau. If you want to buy me a bottle of Cointreau, I will happily use it. I can't afford Cointreau. Who can afford Cointreau? The 1%. That's not me. So I use plain old triple sec. And it calls for, yeah. Alright, there's that. We'll just go with, so you're using an ounce and a half of gin to 3/4 of an ounce of triple sec. So now I'm just doing a little bit more because more is good sometimes. And the next ingredient, you want juice from a lemon, or 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. I don't have a lemon. I have some lemon juice. We're cheap. We do things on the fresh lime may work. There's some lemon juice in there. And the final ingredient, it's in dispute. Some do it, some don't. I gave it a try for texture. It's fun. An egg white, so you get your protein. This is why we don't cook. Okay. So there's an ice cube in here too. And you want an egg white. Some say a dash, some use the whole thing. I'm going to just go for it. Use the whole thing. Why not? Add a little texture. And seal it up. And here we go. Let it shake. I never know how long to use it. So I'll just give about 15 seconds or so. I think that's good. The thing about these things, it gets cold after a while. And, hey, chilled cocktail glasses brought to me by the lovely Scottish wife. And, yeah. And, there. And just eating it out a bit. There you go.
Cheers.
Tangy. To bartenders absent everywhere. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Chilled cocktail glass. White Lady. Classic old school cocktail. And I'd just like to add a sad farewell to a couple of people in the Fredonia bar industry who passed this past week. One was Pat Coughlin, who owned Coughlin's, which was next door to BJ's where I worked. He owned the place since the mid to late 80s, and he passed on Sunday. And even more so, a very sudden, very shocking death of an acquaintance named Doug Arnold, who ran the Old Main Inn for many years. He leaves behind a wife and daughters that he loved. He was in a band in the late 80s that I put out a little EP called Nuns of the Great West. Very sad. He's much loved and very missed, and I dedicate this episode to the memory of Doug Arnold. Cheers. Till next time.